It is 3 o'clock. We will bring the meeting to order, and I will ask, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to give a minute to Ms. Benson. I think she just stepped out for 1 minute. I'll bring the meeting to order and ask Amanda to do the roll call for us.
Mr. Perkins? Here. Mr. Stevens? Here. Chairman Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
And Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Amanda. And we will now have Ms. Benson do the invocation and the pledge. Please stand.
Thank you. And just a couple of comments and then a prayer, please. I had a lot of help raising my kids. Scott was gone. He was in the military, and then he was a resident in medicine, so he wasn't around a lot. Mom came, but she lived pretty far away. But I got a lot of help from PBS. I mean, Oscar the Grouch, Ernie and Bird, Big Bird, all helped me raise my kids, teach them music and math and reading. But I particularly remember Mr. Rogers, who said that his mom always told him that when times were scary, to look for the helpers. Let us pray. Dear Lord, it's often scary times for us when children are gunned down in schoolyards or public figures are gunned down as well, and we celebrate and protect our Second Amendment. Where medical science is questioned at the cost of perhaps human lives. So today we look for the helpers among us. But I want to thank you for the helpers at ECUA because we have a culture of helpers. The people who go into manholes when it's 110 degrees. The people who check the water to make sure that it's safe for everyone to drink. The people who keep our systems running. Those who answer the phones and are polite even when greeted with angry customers. We ask you to guide them, protect them, and help our helpers. May we continue to have a culture of helpers. In your name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson. We move now to the adoption of agenda. Do I have any additions or Mr. Williams?
Madam Chair, I'd just like to add business an update to the Irvin McCorvey water tank.
Mr. Williams, can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
I'd like to add under old business an update to the Irvin McCorvey water tank.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson.
Oh, sorry.
See no one else? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the change? Mr. Perkins moves, second by Mr. Stevens. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to public hearings. We have none, so we will move to open forum. I have one pink slip. Miss Jade Perkins. Perkins? Hi, if you would please come to the podium and push the button, and a light will come on, and you speak into the microphone. Thank you. Give us your name and address, and then just tell us whatever you would like. He's coming to get your microphone on for you. There you go. Give us your name and address, and then tell us what you're here for.
My name is Jade Perkins at 754 Valley Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here. I think that it would be really good for my dad's exhibit little thing to be done. You know, I really hope that can get done. And yeah, and also, I don't know, I just know a lot of people have trouble with water like almost on a daily basis, and it's like, I don't know, my dad gets calls all the time from people, like just constantly. I don't know if there's like, I don't know, I just want stuff to be done for the lower income areas in the city and county, for the Utilities Authority.
Thank you, Jade. Really appreciate you coming to speak. Mrs. Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It is good to see you. I can remember when I was first on the board when you were born, so that was a long time ago. I thought it'd be appropriate for maybe Mr. Woody to apprise the board of the status of what we're planning to do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Woody.
You may remember the last board meeting, Ms. Benson made a motion, the board approved the concept of putting together some constructing a low sign at the water tanks that we have out on the beach to recognize Mr. Perkins' many years of service as a board member. We've been working on some concepts, and we have a few that we're considering at the moment. We've also visited the site and identified a wonderful location for the sign. As you cross the bridge and go through what is currently the gate there, right at the leading edge in front of the very first tank, there is a little triangular section in a perfect location for some signage that's outside of the public right-of-way, outside of our fence, and is not currently complicated by any water lines that we have in the area, nor will it be in the way of any future improvements we're making in the future. So very visible locations. We're looking forward to that. We're talking about some dates right now, a date in the middle of November. When we confirm that date, we'll make that generally known.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you, and we hope this happens soon. So you say visible when I'm driving by?
Yes.
I'll be able to see, and I'll be able to tell my family that that's Dale Perkins, and I'll tell them stories about working with Dale. Okay, I just want to be visible when I'm driving by.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
We're going to touch up the photo a little bit, though.
Thank you. Thank you to my fellow board members. Jade, I want to personally thank you for coming up. It takes a lot of courage to walk into one of these board meetings, and you're welcome to come back up if you want to speak. Yes, ma'am. It takes a lot of courage to come to a board meeting and speak, and I really thank you for coming. I want you to attend that. They're coming to help you with that button. I want you to attend that celebration when we cut that ribbon. And I personally want to tell you that if you ever have any questions about the water or anything you want answered, you're welcome to call me at any time. And I'm sure every board member up here would say the same. Go ahead.
Sometimes I feel, so I've spent time in lower income areas of the county, and I've definitely, not just my father's house, but, you know, friends' houses. I was actually homeless for about 4 days at one point. And I noticed just the issues with like the utilities in the lower income areas. It really seems like it's more prevalent in those areas than in the other areas. I guess that must have something to do with like money, but if the board has power to put money towards, you know, the lower areas, I feel like that should really be, you know, looked at, like, because I see it a lot, like, just lower care and not as good, like, just things are worse utilities wise in lower income areas. They really truly are. So that's really all I had. I mean, the thing about the memorial is great, but really, like, I'm just as for the people as my dad is, and I really see it happening all the time, all over. Just utilities really need work.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for coming. We move now to presentations. Mr. Stevens, do you mind pulling a? Thank you, sir. The winners this month are Thomas and Justice McDonald, and they will get a sign in their yard and recognition in the next newsletter for being great recyclers. We'd be remiss if we didn't also name the others on the list that didn't win but are just as good of recyclers: Joseph and Cynthia Acosta, Jeffrey and Martha Taylor, Dwayne Hudson and Patricia Young, James and Neela Halter, Jay and Sierra Simpson, Natalie Autry, Christopher and Jennifer Irby, Claudia Olmedo, Keith E. Sr., and Charles Koski. Thank you all for being great recyclers in our community. We move now to approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting on August 26, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to read over those? If so, I need a motion to approve. It is moved by Mr. Stevens, second by Ms. Benson. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to the report of the Citizen Advisory Committee on September 16, 2025. Mr. Williams.
Madam Chair, the following is a report of the ECUA Citizen Advisory Committee of September 16, 2025. We started off with awards for the National Association of Clean Water Agencies for peak performance. The Central Water Reclamation Facility received a gold award. Bayou Marcus and Pensacola Beach each received a silver award. Then we had the adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-115, General Resolution authorizing the Executive Director to execute a purchase order with Polydyne Inc. for liquid polymer and provide an effective date. That adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-116, a general resolution authorizes the acceptance of bid and award of contract to Momar Inc. of Atlanta, Georgia for supplemental carbon and providing an effective date. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-119, a general resolution authorizing the write-off of uncollectible accounts and providing an effective date. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-120, a general resolution authorizing the extension of CIP Project R1704, sanitary sewer manhole rehabilitation annual contract from 2022 with BLD Services LLC for the original contract unit price. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-121, a general resolution authorizes the Executive Director to execute a contract with Robson Underground Utility LLC for the annual service contract for roadway restoration and debris removal project and provide an effective date. Adoption of General Resolution Number GR 25-123, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a contract with Florida Municipal Insurance Trust for workers' compensation insurance and third-party administrative services for workers' compensation legacy claims with an effective date of October 1st, 2025. Finally, the adoption of General Resolution Number GR 25-124, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute contract with the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust for automobile and property insurance and Brown & Brown, doing business as Risk Management Associates, Inc., for agent broker services for other commercial insurances with an effective date of October the 1st, 2025. Madam Chair, I'd like to move item 8, numbers 1 through 8.
Thank you, sir. 2 through 8, you mean? One I
For
think
the
was the
adoption.
presentation.
I stand corrected, and we can move 2 through 8 of item 8.
Thank you, sir. And second by Ms. Benson. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Does that conclude your report?
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. We move now to the consent agenda. I will go through each item and have Mr. Woody speak. If you have questions, we can answer them. Staff can answer those at that time, or we can discuss, and then we'll vote on the consent agenda. We move first, item A, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-125, a general resolution authorizing the renewal and extension of the sole source annual agreement with Envirotech of America, Inc. for the System 1000 grease control system and provide an effective date for the agreement. Mr. Woody.
An important part of our collection and conveyance system for the wastewater treatment system is odor control. As you can imagine, with 400 lift stations scattered across our entire service area, a number of those are moderately sized repump stations. And when sewage has been in the system a little while on its destination to on its way to its final destination, sometimes we can have odor control problems, if not for an investment in treatment that we provide. The purpose of this resolution is to renew a contract that we have with Envirotech of America. We originally started this contract in 2008, tried it on 8 different lift stations. With much success, it has grown now to 27 stations that we provide this service to, and it works by remediating grease collection, which is one of the primary contributors to odors, and eliminates hydrogen sulfide forming compounds, which is what creates an odor control problem. So we want to continue this program for next year.
Thank you, sir. See no lights. I have one question. Are we still given the environmental award for the grease?
Yes, we have a fats, oils, and grease program where we submit and make recommendations for commercial property owners who are participants in that program for their excellence in compliance.
So we used to have them come, they used to come to the board meeting and get an award. They don't, I just haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Some of them are willing, less of them are willing. They're grateful. They like the plaques we give them. They're oftentimes
Don't have time.
Shy to come to a meeting, though.
Makes sense. Thank you. Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to know, does this general resolution cover all of our lift stations or just those 27? What about the rest of the lift stations?
It just covers those 27.
So those are the only ones that really have a problem with an odor?
Yeah. The lift stations that are on the outside perimeters of the system, that's the first time that the sewage is being pumped, generally don't have an odor control problem. They cycle relatively frequently, but when you have a repump station, because sewage is pumped from one station to another on its way, those mid-sized stations are often the times we have the potential for some motor control problems. So there's where we dose the stations with a chemical to help deal with hydrogen sulfide.
And where I was reading it is, it works initially, and as it travels through the system, it continues to reduce the odor?
There's two things going on. There's aeration. There's a device in there that stirs things up and adds air entrainment, which helps right at the station. And there's chemical added that helps bind up the hydrogen sulfide so that it isn't released from the sewage. And that does carry on down the system.
Thank you. No further questions. We move to item B, adoption of general resolution GR 25 at 126, a general resolution authorizing real property located at 8562 Acapulco Camino to be no longer useful, necessary, or profitable in the operation of the utility systems of the Emerald Coast Utility Authority, approving and concurring in the findings of the executive director and declaring the portion of property to be surplus and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
If you look at page 27 of your agenda, there is a map showing where this is located. It's in a subdivision south of Gulf Beach Highway. We'd originally purchased this vacant lot at 8562 Acapulco Camino with the proposal that we relocate an existing lift station that's out in the right-of-way back to that location. On further working with, through some public meetings with property owners in the area, they were concerned about that particular location. So we worked with the neighborhood to identify some other alternatives and ultimately found a location that still served ECUA's needs, but better served the interests of the neighbors. So we will instead be constructing our updated lift station 8558 Acapulco Camino right there on the corner. That means that the original lot that we had purchased is now available for sale. We've added some of the costs that we've had associated with that lot and recommend a minimum purchase price to recoup some of those costs. But we're ready to put that out on the market for interested bidders. I understand there may be a couple adjacent property owners that may have an interest in it.
Speakers. I think I've told y'all before, this was the first place I lived. When I was looking at the item this month, that is my lot. That was where I lived, is this lot. Yeah, 25, 30, well, 45 years ago, I bought that lot. And it was sold, I sold it, and then they sold it, and then whoever that bought it sold it to the ECUA, so it was really funny. Brought back some memories. Item C is adoption of General Resolution GR 25 at 128, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a sole source purchase order in the amount of $300,000 with Green South Solutions LLC to provide a Class B biosolids and land application services and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
One of the byproducts of our treatment process is biosolids. That product runs through a set of dryers, and ultimately we use as much of it as we can in our composting program as well. However, there are times when neither of those two programs are able to keep up with all that's produced, so we need an alternative means to get rid of excess biosolids. And in lieu of taking them to the landfill at a very high price, there are interested parties, specifically Green South Solutions, who takes Class B biosolids and has a land application program, essentially using them as a fertilizer. So we're recommending a continuation of sole source purchase agreement with Green South Solutions for the removal of excess biosolids.
Thank you, sir. I see no lights. Mr. Williams.
Thank you. So are we delivering to them, or do they deliver to, they come pick it up?
We actually have a contract that gives us the option, one way or the other. If they come and pick it up, the cost is $40 per wet ton, and they provide the transportation. If we were to bring it to them, then they would make it at $10 a wet ton. But it is more cost-effective if we have them do the transportation.
Or they pick it up? Okay. And how much is a wet ton?
2,000 pounds at 16% moisture? 18%, more than that? 20% moisture. I don't have the number right.
I know a ton is 2,000 pounds.
Pardon me? 16% solids.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I said moisture. I did that backwards.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
16% moisture.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. We move now to item D, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-130, a general resolution authorizing the renewal and extension of the annual electric motor and submersible pump repair and rewind services agreement with Gulf Coast Electric Motor Service, Inc., and providing an effective date for the agreement. Mr. Woody.
This is a very important support that we receive from an outside vendor. As you well know, so much of our system depends on electric motors of various sizes, literally from 5 horse probably up to 600 horse. Or much larger. Anyway, the purpose for this agreement is to provide emergency services as well as regular services for rewinding motors and providing services to motors. The current contract had initial term of 1 year, but also had 4 additional one-year renewals, so we're recommending that we execute one of the one-year renewals, again, with no increase in price from the previous contract.
Madam Chair. So how often do we use this? How often do we use this contract? I know it's a mutual agreement, and it's profitable for both, but do we have motors?
Very regularly. We spend about $600,000 a year with this company. Most all that work comes through either regional services or lift stations maintenance and construction, which is Jerry Piscopo's area.
I see Mr. Piscopo headed that way.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Yes, we use it probably almost every day. I mean, because they're constantly replacing and repairing pumps, and a part of the submersible pump is an electric motor. So they do all types of service, and they don't just service us; they service all over the nation and technically the world. They've been down in the Caribbean. They do a lot of big motors, thousands of horsepower. Very good company.
Located on, is it Garden or?
They're down off of Palafox.
3810 Hopkins Street.
Hopkins Street, down there in that industrial complex, right by the Superfund site that's on 29 there.
3810 what?
Hopkins.
3810 Hopkins Street.
Okay. Just wanted to know how regular we use them. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Piscopo. Thank you again for your service. We move now to item, Ms. Benson.
Yeah. I'm just curious, and I think I probably know the answer, but have we ever looked into doing that in-house? Since it's a daily occurrence, Mr. Piscopo apparently does not want to do that. But when we use something that consistently, it's always good to look at the economics of doing that.
We also use vehicles every day. We don't make vehicles. I would just say that this is an expertise that we're just not in the market for. Rewinding motors is a specialty. They have special ovens and dips and all those things, and there's a lot of hazardous materials and those types of things that go on. They've done it forever, and be very hard to start up in that business. More efficient just to send it out. Matter of fact, the manufacturers, they're an authorized warranty center for most of the equipment we use, so even they're recognized with them. So.
Thank you, Mr. Piscopo.
Yeah,
Great question.
Even spending $600,000 a year, we couldn't earn a return on investment on all the capital we had to put into the equipment to be able to do that type of repair work.
Yes.
It's pretty specialty stuff.
Always a good question, though. Thank you, Mrs. Benson. We move now to item E, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-131, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute Amendment Number 2 to the cooperative purchasing agreement with InfoSend, Inc. for the outsourcing of utility billing and delinquent notice delivery services and issue a blanket purchase order for the fiscal year 2026. Mr. Woody.
We currently have a contract with this firm to provide these services for originally a 3-year period, and then has additional renewal options for successive 2-year periods, which is what we're recommending here. InfoSend has been the ones who we upload an electronic file to them, and they're the ones that actually print and process and mail all of our actual hard copy mails, as well as deliver electronic billing as well. They've been doing a wonderful job at it. We've been working with them for quite some time, and we've had some good success at reducing the number of paper bills that we send in favor of email. And by doing it bulk-wise in this manner, they sort by zip code, and we also have some savings in postage by doing it through a bulk mailer as well. So we recommend that we continue the service we have with InfoSend.
Thank you. Mrs. Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a 1-year contract, is that correct?
This renewal is a 2-year period. Is that correct? I believe it's a 2-year period. This next one.
And are there subsequent renewals built into this?
Yes, the original one is a 3-year period and has renewal options for successive 2-year periods until one of the two of us terminates the agreement.
We move now to item F. Just by a show of hands, humor me, how many people still get a paper bill? Yeah. Yeah. I always like to know. I hired a new employee today, and she's like, "Where's the printer?" And I said, "We don't have a printer. We're paperless." But I know I was still getting a paper bill until, recently when we moved it. So I'm very happy about it. All right. Maybe next year nobody will get a paper bill.
Madam Chair, if you're interested in some statistics, when we started working on doing this electronically, we were mailing out approximately 107,000 bills per month. As more of our customers have switched to email bills, that number has began to decline as of, and that really started in about July of 24. The last 3 months in particular, June, July, and August of 25, we only averaged 80,267 bills per month being delivered by regular mail. So we are on the decline.
20%. Yeah.
Our next big challenge is going to be if we want to, and many companies have done this, not necessarily public ones, but many private ones have said, well, if you're going to get electronically or paper, but you're not going to get both. We have about 20,000 people in the category of getting both. That would be a big change, but it'd also be a kind of a shock to the system if we said, no longer going to get a paper. That might be something worth discussing.
Might be. I think as we move along with age, people will just automatically get less and less. Williams.
Yeah, Madam Chair. So how did we get the reduction in paper copies to the customers? Was there
some of them just with our customer service folks asking if they want one or the other for existing customers. Now for new customers, is Gabe still out in the audience? He's not now. I believe it's my understanding that now when we give them an option of one or the other. We don't give them the option of both. So we have a cluster of folks who previously have been given the option of both, but new customers or renewing customer people move or whatnot, they have to choose one or the other. So that's one way that we've shrunk the pool of folks.
Do we have a plan to continue to shrink the pool?
Well, there's really only two options here. One is just through advertisement and encouragement, which we do through social media, pipeline, and other advertisements. The other bigger one would be if we were to take the step to reach out to those folks that receive both and let them know effective 30 days from now, 60 days or whatnot, that unless we're told otherwise, since you're receiving both, that they will no longer receive paper after some effective date. That would be a big change, but that could potentially create some upset folks who want to receive both. That would have to be a policy decision of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Ms. Benson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to vote against this, just because it's a 2-year extension, and I only would like 1 year. When we were talking about the strategic plan a couple of months ago, after our consultant came back with the plan that they did, I spent a lot of time thinking about our budget workshops and some of the priorities and goals and objectives that members of our staff had. And I also compared that to the strategic plan that almost never had those goals and objectives. And so I spent a weekend with AI and identified some things that I thought our staff had identified and this board had identified, and one of them was e-billing. And AI is just blows me away what it can do. But it came up with a really amazing plan to reduce paper, and it talked about strategies of informing the public and getting people to sign on. So forth. And, I assume we're going to talk about the strategic plan again, and I know that our staff has been working on some of these AI things. So I don't want to preempt that, but I think it's time for us to move into that kind of strategic planning and have identifiable goals. And I think this is one area where we need to do it. So I'm just going to let you know when it comes to that. I'm going to pull that and vote no, just because I don't want two more years of this.
I believe it's for 3 years, right?
Oh.
Two.
Well, I must be,
From September 2025 through August of 27.
okay, I jumped ahead.
I am concerned about continuity of service. If we were to drop them with no notice, we would have a problem of no means to bill our customers. We need a transition time, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
And I understand that, and I think in my remarks I said I would do 1 year rather than 2 years. This is just sort of me doing the protest. If this gets traction, I would make a substitute motion.
That was very fast.
There's sometimes you just vote no as your protest, and we'll see where this goes. There you
Here's
go.
2 more.
Well, I wanted to say that just in case too many other people want to jump on the bandwagon.
Okay, am
Wasn't a problem.
I wrong that on page 1 of the amendment number 2, this third paragraph says where cooperative agreement is for a 3-year period with an additional renewal options for successive 2-year periods? Am I the only one reading that? It says 3 years?
The original contract was,
Oh, the original contract was 3, so this is just
Yeah,
for
and subsequent ones are 2 years.
renewal.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you.
on page 42, you can see a copy of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
actual
I got it.
contract, and it shows the dates.
Okay, so this is for 2 years? All right, thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Stevens.
And just to kind of add to what Ms. Benson said, obviously it makes sense for us technology folks, and Ms. Benson probably ahead of her time in technology right now in comparison to a lot of folks. I can tell you in my district, on the surface, it's like a no-brainer. I mean, first off, it makes no sense to me for someone to get paper billing and internet billing. So that right off the bat, I mean, I know we're not voting on that right now, but I give you my feelings on that. It's either one or the other, but we'll get to that in the future. But to do with paper billing, I mean, it's like me telling my, when I have one of my ratepayers, constituents, call me and miss garbage pickup is typically the main one I get, or bulk pickup or something along those lines. I might email me, I get my email address, give me name, address, phone number, brief description, I'm gonna forward it to my director, he's gonna get blah, 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 blah. And I've got people that I don't do email, I don't do computer. I'm like, ma'am, sir, is this a cell phone number? I'm just going to text you my email address. No, I don't, so I get quite a bit of that from folks. And so I suspect that would, by us not, even though I don't do paper billing because I'm all things email and text messages, there's a lot of folks, especially in my district, who they're just, I'm not going to say ornery, but they are set in their ways, and they are not doing a computer. They are not going to text with me. They are not going to, if I want to send an email, I'm to write down their information, which I do. Thankfully, I have an assistant that I pay for. And she types it out and sends it on their behalf because they're just not going to do it. So, again, that doesn't have to make necessarily sense to me, but it's not very efficient, but I respect their decisions and their right to get that paper bill. But a lot of folks are just going to be dependent on that for not indefinitely, because I think the generation coming behind them, I don't know what we're on, X, Y, Z, G, whatever, but whatever we are, but we'll get more and more. But I think for the foreseeable future, there's some anti-internet, anti-smartphone, anti-email folks that want their paper bills. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
Well, it says here this company started providing electric billing services and is helping us with that. So hopefully we could encourage them to do more of that. Like Ms. Benson, is there a way to do a 1 year and then evaluate it after, or is it tied to the 2-year extension in here?
Mr. Woody?
The contract version we have now says 2. I imagine but it would take mutual consent on both parties to consider that.
I think I'm kind of like Mr. Stevens. I have people that call me with problems, and I'm like, well, can you write me an email and send me all the details you possibly have so I make sure I get it to the people that need it accurately? Oh no, I don't do that. I don't mess with them computers, and so then I have to take down the information and get it to them and stuff. So there's some people who just won't do that. I'll probably vote for this and just encourage staff to have them move more toward electronic billing, saying, look, at the end of this 2 years, we're going to be looking at this a little more closely.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Smith?
Good afternoon. I just wanted to maybe clarify a couple of things. InfoSend does the processing for all of our billing, both the paper billing and the email. So they are not, they're really not assisting with the email billing. They are just, they're sending the emails with the bills. And they are taking a bunch of ones and zeros data from our billing system, and they're generating the actual bill that you receive as far as the formatting and the logo and the coloring and the messaging, all of that stuff. They get essentially a data file, they've got the format, that's what processes it in the bill. That's part of what these services are. Then they either mail it or they email it based off of the customer's election and based off of what we have in our system. So as far as, the push to email bills versus paper bills, that's something that we have to do in-house. That's not a service they provide. That's something that we work on. I know they posted things on social media, on the website, community events, they talk about how to sign up for it. All that stuff is done in-house. And then as far as the 1 year versus 2 years, I think that maybe be a little thing. I know this particular contract, it is a cooperative agreement that piggybacked off of Okaloosa County. So we had those same terms and conditions. Just want to throw that out there that it is, whether it's all emailed or all printed and mailed, they do both. It's a lot cheaper for us if it's if it's emailed, but preference, but they do all.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you. Mrs. Benson?
Yes, thank you. When I was first on the board, we had a computer system, a software system, that was so archaic. It was just bizarre, and every year or every 2 years, we would have to update the software. Mr. Perkins will remember this, and nobody in the world was using it, I think, except ECUA, and we had to spend a fortune to keep doing it. And it was kind of stunning, and finally, we broke the yoke of that. You know, what I'm doing today is, I really did not expect us not to do this, but I simply wanted to make the point that it's time for us to have a real plan for doing this, and I don't want to keep kicking it down the road. And we can do that, and we have the staff that can develop that plan, and I'm just serving notice that I want to move toward this more aggressively than sort of organically the people kind of sign up. I want to have a plan for doing it, and that's why I would like 1 year increments rather than 2. But I'm happy to go down 4 to 1 every once in a while. It's okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson. I totally appreciate your spirit. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make reference to encouraging those who are receiving paper and electronic have a time frame in which electronic or paper. So is that, when can I make that motion?
You can make it right now.
I can make it right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You might want to direct staff to see, make your motion for staff to look at a plan for that, or, you know what I mean?
Okay, Madam Chair, I move that that staff encourages those people who are receiving paper and electronic bills be given 90 days to decide to go with paper or electronic only, and we prefer electronic only.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Benson, would you?
Well, to get it on the table, we don't have a second, so I will wait.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
second.
Do I have a second? We have a second by
Okay.
Mr. Stevens. Mrs. Benson.
And I appreciate what Mr. Williams is saying, and I think he kind of is in the spirit of where I want to go. But I think that's just one piece of it. I would rather have a holistic plan where that is one component of it, and the timeline is dictated by the overall strategic plan, rather than 90 days. And I hate to ask staff to develop an isolated plan for this rather than a larger overview. So while I agree with the spirit of what you're saying, it's bigger than that.
But I wanted to make that motion before you said you were going to vote no. I wanted to make that motion after Mr. Woody spoke about those 20 or so thousand receiving 2 bills. So, and I see that we have a reduction from our previous amount of by 20,000 customers. So I just want to continue. This motion is to help us continue to reduce the cost of this service. So additionally, whatever we could do to go paperless is besides this motion. This motion is strictly to reduce the cost of paperless service for those customers who potentially could continue to help us lower that cost immediately. Madam Chair.
Mr. Perkins.
Although I appreciate the intent of the motion, I'm going to vote against it. I think that I think there's just liable to cause too many problems. I think that we're seeing our numbers naturally go more toward electronic. I think that will continue with some education and way things naturally flow. But I think if we set a 90-day time limit for people, we're kind of strong-arming them, and then some people are going to say, well, I didn't get my bill, and they're going to have their water cut off and everything. I just think it would cause more problems than it would solve. So I'm inclined to vote against it. But to move toward that, in the long run.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stevens.
No, and I mean, I tend to lean more agreeing with Mr. Williams. I don't see why we need paperless and email. I mean, in fact, I'm getting notifications, and I say that hypocritically because I like both myself, actually. I like to have both come to me, but I've been getting notices, whether it be Navy Federal or be finance companies, literally telling me, you've got a choice to make. I mean, I'm getting that right now from banks and finance companies saying, we're no longer going to do either paper billing and or you have to choose. Amex is that way, Visa is that way, all your major credit card holders that way. So we're certainly, I don't see us setting a trend by no stretch of the imagination with the ECUA asking for this, because all of your B of A's, Bank of America, I could go on and on and on, are already doing this as we speak. So I'm just more of an efficiency type of guy, and I just don't see I mean, we're not saying you can no longer have a paper bill. Now, we're trying to get to that. I know, alluding to what Ms. Benson had said, we're certainly trying to move in that direction. But I think this would be a positive step in that direction. It's something, I would say better than a sharp stick in the eye. We're getting in that direction. So we're not taking paper billing away from, again, a lot of my constituents out there who are relying on it, who quite frankly probably aren't opening up their email anyway because they won't send me an email. So anyway, I just think it's, if our intent is to try to move in that direction, if our intent is to try to, I mean, some folks need like a little bit of nudge. And like I said, I've been having to make those decisions myself as a consumer and a business owner over the last year via these other companies requiring it. So, I mean, I think it's, I'm going to vote yes, but I mean, that's.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Ms. Benson.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I still have PTSD from moving to making people call in for bulk waste, and how hard it was to educate the public that they had to do that, a fairly simple thing. It takes a lot of staff work, education, et cetera, to do something that makes perfect sense, saying which will you do. And I just think it needs to be rolled into something rather than individual, so that we're not spinning our wheels over one thing and creating problems for some people who are going to call in and say, yeah, I don't want that. So anyway, I'm going to vote no on a very good idea.
I have no more speakers, and I see that y'all have put me in a very difficult position because I can count. I'm going to be the vote on this one. So I am going to politely vote no, but I really appreciate the spirit of this motion, Mr. Williams, more than you will ever know, because I am paperless and I've been there since 1999. So I hope that staff is listening, because when you bring it again in 90 days, I may very well vote for your side. I think we need to really push those people that are getting both a paper bill and an electronic bill. And it might be someone like Ms. Benson or myself that, because I was doing it, I was getting both. And I said to myself, well, you need to practice what you preach. So I really think that we need to push them very hard over the next 90 days. And then if we don't see a large reduction, I hope Mr. Williams will bring it again, but this time I will not vote for it. Thank you. Please vote. Me too. And it fails 3-2, but the spirit of that was very well taken by Mr. Williams and Mr. Stevens. Thank you for bringing that up. No, we don't. We move to item F, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-133, a general resolution authorizing execution and delivery of a master lease purchase agreement with Bank of...
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think we're back to the main motion on that last item.
Oh, I am very sorry. You're going back to the main motion. Ms. Yeah. That was just, yeah, it wasn't on 131, it was on. No, we're not voting on 131. Yeah. No, we're moving on to item F, adoption of general resolution GR 25-133, a general resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a master lease purchase agreement with Bank of America Public Capital Corp. And a corresponding escrow agreement to finance the purchase of 14 sanitation trucks received during 2025, authorizing the execution and delivery of other documents required in connection therewith, and providing an effective date.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if I'm clear. We never voted on General Resolution GR 131.
No, sir. We have not voted. We're not voting on that.
I think they were planning on doing everything as a consent agenda, and then you can pull that.
You can pull it if you want to at the
Okay,
end.
excuse
Thank
me.
you.
Okay, excuse me.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
You might talk me into it if you do.
No, I'm with you now.
Adoption, okay. So I'm going to read that again. Item F, adoption of general resolution GR 25-133, a general resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a master lease purchase agreement with Bank of America Public Capital Corporation and corresponding escrow agreement to finance the purchase of 14 sanitation trucks received during 2025, authorizing the execution and delivery of other documents required in connection therewith, and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody.
You may remember that in March of this year, the ECUA board approved a resolution that allowed for the use of tax-exempt finance proceeds to reimburse the ECUA for the purchase of sanitation collection trucks as we receive them. So what we've been doing over this past period of time is the ECUA receives and pays for the sanitation trucks as they arrive, with the understanding that subsequently, when we amassed a fair number of those, that we would then issue one larger tax-exempt debt in order to finance those purchases. So between March and August of this year, we've received 16 trucks altogether. We have 2 more that we anticipate receiving. That'd be a total amount of $7,967,956 that were budgeted, that we're proposing to budget with tax-exempt debt over a period of 7 years. We had a couple nice responses from banks. Best offer that we received was from Bank of America Public Capital Corporation with financing rate of 3.3637%.
Thank you, sir. Amazing.
And we're decidedly working much harder to acquire and turn these vehicles under a more appropriate life cycle. And you notice we're only financing these over 7 years because that is the turnover period for these proposed vehicles.
Thank you. Seen a huge refinances in the last month. We move now to Mr. Williams, did you have a question?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I see we've ordered 18 of these vehicles. How many more do we have on order?
As you may remember, I provided some correspondence in a previous board report about the fact that we've had several of these on extended order, mainly because, for 2 reasons. One, they're compressed natural gas, CNG vehicles. Those always take longer because they're kind of a specialized vehicle in many regards. And at the time that we ordered, COVID was going on, and all the problems with supply chain added to that. We received quite a few of those, although out of frustration for the length of time, we did put that supplier on notice that we would no longer be willing to receive anything after September 26th of 25, which happens to be this Friday. As you would expect, they've been quite anxiously trying to speed up their schedule so they can deliver as many as they can before the deadline. We've received, how many in the last week and a half? 7. Yeah, we've received 7 in the last week. We've got another 6 or so out there that we may or may not receive before Friday. they can pull it off. But anything that we don't receive through this contract, we've identified a series of others that are available that are of diesel configuration that will provide the service very well and much less expensively. So that's how we plan to fulfill any shortfalls in this contract.
So that's 18 plus 7 or 18 including the 7?
If you don't mind, can I defer to Tommy Patrick to kind of give you a summary? He probably has those numbers in his head a little better than I do.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the 22 order is 19 of them total. So we've got 7 of those in now, and we're waiting for the rest of the 19 that are coming in. But that order that's on there right in this minute is some other type of trucks too, like we have a boom truck, we have some front loaders on there, and others than the side loaders. That 19 that we're talking about are for side loaders, the ones that pick up residential garbage.
Thank you.
All
Does
right.
that answer your question, sir?
On the side loaders, we ordered 19 of them. We're still waiting on like 6 of those on the side loaders. That of the 18 that you have there, those are different type of trucks, different type of sanitation trucks. They're like front loaders for commercial division and other type of trucks that are included in that number. They're not just side loader trucks. Yep. So 6 more is what we're basically looking at right now. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so do I have anyone that would like to hold items on the consent agenda? And Mrs. Benson.
I'd like to pull item E, please.
Item E is pulled. Miss, is that the only item? So would anyone like to make a motion for items A through D and F? Mr. Stevens, and second by Mr. Perkins. So this is to move on the consent agenda, items A through D and F. Please vote. And it passes 5-0, and we move to item E, which is adoption of General Resolution GR 25-131, a resolution authorizing the executive director to execute Amendment 2 to the cooperative purchasing agreement with InfoSend, Inc. for the outsourcing of utility billing and delinquent notice delivery services and issue a blanket purchase order. Ms. Benson. Oh, I thought you wanted to. Oh, just need a motion. I thought you wanted to talk about it. We just need a motion on item 31. We have it moved by Mr. Perkins, second by Mr. Stevens. Please vote. And it passes 4-1. Good try. We move now to the budget report for August 2025 year-to-date. Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon. I have your year-to-date budget report for August 31st, 2025. 92% of the fiscal year. We're kind of down to the wire here. We've got another week left from today for this fiscal year, but as of August 31st, the expenses for water and wastewater were at 80% of our budget, so we're slightly under budget on the water and wastewater side, and then the sanitation and MRF was at 88% of the budget, so it's still a little under the 92%, closer. I would expect we would come in right around that 98, 99% on the station MRF for the year when it's all said and done, and looking like water and wastewater be a little lower, or 95%.
Thank you, sir. See anyone with any questions? I appreciate you. We move now to the Executive Director's report. Mr. Woody.
You may remember some earlier discussions at previous meetings about various types of IT initiatives that we're currently working on in order to help improve the customer experience. Our Director of IT, Mr. Hamid Rizé, is going to be making a presentation at the CAC meeting on October 21st, giving an update on progress on various initiatives that they're doing in that regard. I think you're very with it. Improvements related to the chatbot for the website, some kiosks at a couple key locations, and a discussion about status of a mobile app that we're working on as well. Also, I would like to briefly give you an update on our work on Phase 6 of the force main replacement on Scenic Highway. It was our hope and expectations that by this meeting that work would be complete. While they are close, they are not quite there yet. As of last night, they completed the reaming of the 1,600-foot directional bore that they've made for installation of the pipe. The company will begin pulling that pipe into the hole tomorrow morning. Problems there, once that is pulled and complete, then our prime contractor comes back and makes the connection. As I mentioned previously, our staff have already gone out there and installed the valving necessary switch over from old force main to the new force main. Ready to go. We just need to complete the installation of this board.
Thank you. So I assume some of the teams that were working on Inter-Arity were pulled to that emergency. Is that?
Yes, the subcontractor, our prime contractor is Talcon. Subcontractor doing the boring work, however, is the prime contractor that's doing the work over on Inter-Arity Point Road. So when they're complete with this emergency repair, they will be returning to.
We have a new projected date of the Inter-Arity Point Road?
Or to Stacy on that estimate.
Thank you. Mr. Hayden.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Just spoke with the contractor today. Once they get restarted on the project on Inter-Arity Point Road, it'll be 90 days approximately till they get complete.
Thank you. So we're looking at probably around the first of the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We move now to, is that it, Mr. Woody? We move now to the attorney's report. Mr. Pugh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, I would report to the board a positive ruling that we've just received in the last, I guess, couple of weeks now on the litigation brought by FDOT against ECUA. You may recall this was back before we even started, became your attorneys. We inherited this case in 2019. Just a couple of weeks ago, the court issued an order finding in favor of the ECUA on all counts brought by the DOT. The deadline for an appeal from DOT is October 10th, so we'll be watching for that.
And that is tremendous news. Thank you very much. That concludes all of those you inherited, right?
It does. We may be working ourselves out of a job here. I don't know.
Good job, sir. And please tell your staff thank you very much. Always nice when you don't have. Okay, we move now to unfinished business, and Mr. Williams had an item for an update on the Elvin McCorvey well. Mr. Woody.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just, I know we've been working on this and are working on it. Just wanted to confirm the timeline so that I can inform the appropriate people so that they can make appropriate plans.
Okay. I don't know that I have an update on the completion date. I can tell you the most recent activities unless Dawn happens to know the most completion date. The last few weeks, though, they have completed the pour of the foundations for the granular-activated carbon vessels. The vessels are off-site, but as soon as that concrete meets Russian strength. They'll be bringing in those vessels. They'll be working on the wellhead starting October 1st, so that is proceeding as well. Construction on the building obviously hasn't started. I don't know if Don can give us an update on the overall completion date.
Madam
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes, sir, thank you.
members of the board. Yes, there's a lot of things going on this site. There's three main projects. There's the slab for the GAC filter vessels, which has been poured. The GAC vessels should be arriving next week. We have the slab for the booster pump station, which is currently being formed up and being ready to be poured. And then there is the well treatment facility for which the slab has been poured. Contractor Taucon is moving right along, making good progress, and we expect them to be done by summer next year.
Thank you very much, sir. We move now to new business, and I'm sorry I didn't put these on to begin with, but I had just a couple of small items. One was, when I had asked for to have two, the main reason was when you're the chair here and you open an item or you open an attachment, it pops up in front of your screen so that you can't still see what you've got going on with speakers in the board meeting and motions and what have you. So I'm hopeful that with the new system, the pop-up will be on the other screen instead of that screen. So I just wanted to that. Maybe even could do it just pop up on the same screen. But it pops up in front of, if you know what I'm talking about. So I think he's shaking his head, he knows what I'm saying. So, and then the second thing was back to those environmental awards. When people do good, I really just like to talk about it. And I like to tell people about when they're doing good things. So I would like to see when I open up my bill, not my bill because I don't get that anymore, but when I open up, social media somewhere, I want to see those people that are doing the right thing, because if they're doing the right thing at their restaurant, I want to go buy dinner there. So, I just think it'd be cool for us to shout out to those people if we could somehow, some way, or just let us know when they're winning, because we can go visit them.
Yeah, we do put that out on social media, but we'll look at the frequency with which we put it out and see if we can.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to give a shout out real quick to 3 businesses in the Perdido Key area that have taken it upon themselves to move from septic to sewer, and that is not a cheap thing to do. That is a very expensive thing to do. So if you're out in the Perdido area and you want a really good take care of some people that are taking care of our system, 3 of those businesses are the Perdido Seafood, where you can buy seafood down there, and it's really fresh and it's really good. And Tommy has done a great job on that, and he's now joined in with the guy that owns the Bushwhacker Landing, which sounds like a bar, but it's not, because my husband doesn't drink. So we went, and they have mocktails, and they have a family play area for kids. My kids took my grandson there, and they have like a little play area you can play on, but they have trucks there, and you can eat, and it's beautiful. It's right there on the Intercoastal Waterway. You can watch the barges go by or the boats go by. It's really cool. And then there's also a place called the Salty Pearl, which is a restaurant and bar area down there. And they all 3 are real close to the water on Canal Drive area, and they have all 3 taken that expense on themselves to move from septic to sewer, and it makes me very proud of the people in my community. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me on that. We move now to board communications. Mrs. Benson.
Just one thing. It was either in the New York Times this morning or the Washington Post, and I can't remember which it was in. But there was something that the current administration is lengthening the timeline to implement the PFAS mediation nationally. And I think, and I wanted to confirm, that this board took action and said, no matter what happens, we're maintaining the timeline that we had set out. And I just want to confirm that and want people to know that.
Yeah, we're still targeting the original 5-year schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benson. I agree. Mr. Perkins?
We've had the same insurance here for our employees for many years, United Healthcare. Excuse me. On the 1st of October, we're going to be switching to Blue Cross, and that's going to be a pretty big transition for a lot of people. Some people may have to change primary care providers, or there may be some things that are covered and some things that are not covered. Typically, employees don't tend to call their board members when they have problems, gratefully, but you know, our staff will have a big challenge here and make that transition smoothly, because I know that's probably causing some anxiety for some of the members of the workforce. I'm sure we can handle it, but there may be a few little bumps that we just have to be aware of.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that and agree. And I know United Healthcare has been very good to our employees over the years, so they got some big shoes to fill. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to commend young lady Perkins for staying the whole meeting. And in addition, I wanted to make sure she knew that I heard her comments earlier, and we work for those same people that you're referencing. So we will, at every opportunity possible, find a way or raise the issue to advocate for those who are most vulnerable, most in need of the services that we provide here at ECUA.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And last but not least, I would like to thank Bruce and Bruce Woody, our administrator, and Philip Pugh, our attorney, for a last-minute phone call versus meeting today for me. I was in a hearing at City Hall, and they were able to turn our meeting into a phone meeting. So I really appreciate that. I don't like to do that to people at the last minute. So thank you very much. Move now to the second open forum. Do we have anyone wanting to speak? And if not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Kevin Stevens, and second by Ms. Benson. It's always a race to the button for that one. I know. Please vote. You're slipping over there. And it passes 4-1. This is no vote for the day.
Started the trend. He was like, you know what?
He's like, she's not going to be the only 4-1 in this bunch. Thank you again, Jade.